I'm Jake Holcomb.
And I'm Caleb Nolan.
And this is What the Podcast.
Today, we are here with my dad, Chad Nolan.
Good to be here.
Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Chad Nolan, and I'm probably the oldest guest you've ever had on this show.
You are.
I'm glad to be here.
About a couple months.
He just turned 30 this past June. So
Yeah.
turned 30. How was your day today?
Cold. It's getting colder, but it's
Yes,
good.
it is.
Good. I didn't have to work, so that was
Yeah, your
That's
last
good.
day
Good.
was Thursday. right?
yesterday. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
So you've had a lot of musical experience. You're
Yes.
you're obviously like in a band.
Mm-hmm.
Been in a couple throughout your life. What was your biggest inspiration?
Well, I guess it's hard to pinpoint, but if you want to go way back to when I started, probably my dad, your granddad was in the gospel group. I remember that. And my Uncle Major, and my cousin was in gospel groups, and I just remember being really, really young and seeing the equipment and just thinking it was neat at an early age.
Right.
And I don't know, I just kind of piqued my interest at a young age, and then from there, of course, I got into the record collection of my parents, and they had, I was lucky enough to stumble upon good music, and they had Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis.
All top three artists right there.
Yeah.
And you listen to those three records, right off the bat, and I mean, you're just almost, or at a young age, you're destined to probably going to be influenced and be in music, Then you go from there, and then we discovered music of our day, which was really got into Kiss, and that just blew our mind. You're 6 years old and watching somebody,
rock,
like Kiss, it's breathing fire and spitting blood and all that kind of stuff. Your little mind's blown. And so then, having a brother and we both had the same, kind of inspiration there and fed off each other. And, that just kind of what got the ball rolling.
Right. So you've been in a lot of bands, I guess. Probably some
Yeah.
that I don't even know. Go over some of those.
Well,
Let's start from like the beginning.
Yeah. Well, we tried to have a band when I first was in like 7th and 8th grade, and it really wasn't very successful because we really didn't know how to play.
Right.
So,
It's
well,
kind of
we had a
discovering.
band anyway, and we didn't know how to play. We thought I guess we was delusional, and we thought you just kind of just got instruments and you just all of a sudden was a band. But so we had that band, and then got on into high school, and the first real band got in was with me and my brother Matt, and then Matt Young, and Stacy Kitchens. We started a band called Release. How we came up with that name, I don't know, but we played we played in the talent shows and just this and that. Whenever they'd let us play, we'd beg people to let us play, and so I had Released, and I went on and got into a band. Got up with some older guys who was a little bit older than me, and they were already like playing, and like playing parties for money, which I didn't even know you could get paid for such as that at that time. And we started a band called Driver, DRYVR.
Ooh.
And then we
Very
went
edgy.
Yeah, and then we had shirts made. I wish I could find one of those.
That'd be cool.
And then we got that. Me and that drummer formed another band called 10 to Midnight, and that's when we got Mike Willard, who's the bass player that ended up playing with, still plays with now, with Misbehaving, which Misbehaving came on later. And got Campus Country. That was a great experience. Got school paid for then. And
That's always good.
Yeah.
yeah, and it was just it was kind of a strict environment, which I didn't appreciate much at the time, but looking back now, I'm glad I went through process of having that. They really taught you discipline and, you know, how you needed to really
Control yourself, I guess.
work on your instrument and singing harmonies and how to really sing. And it was a good program, it still is.
Got your full potential out, I guess.
Well,
Kinda.
should have got my full potential out. But then from there, started misbehaving, and that really, we kind of caught some traction and played parties and clubs around and stuff. Then from there, we broke off and we got the Spunk Monkeys going. Matt and I got it going, and then we traveled all over with Spunk Monkeys. And then I left Spunk Monkeys a few years ago and got Misbehaving back together because it fit my life a little bit better. So come full circle with that. And I've probably left out about 2 or 3 bands in there somewhere. So.
See, I actually didn't even hear about 10 Till Midnight. You might have mentioned it.
Yeah, that was a good little band.
That's
too.
a cool name.
Yeah, it's a movie. We named that after a movie that you can look the movie up. It's kind of become a cult kind of classic or whatever you call it, where people go back and watch these cheesy movies and they think they're something. But I've watched some of the movie. It's been a long time, but the name of that movie was 10 Till Midnight. And it was a pretty cool. Neat movie. And but we had the whole. I was just 16 at that time, and I was playing with guys that were a good bit older than me, and we had keyboards, drums, bass, and then a lead singer his name was Glenn Mullen, and he was a wild man, put on a good show. And I remember playing with them. We'd go up to Memphis and played a few parties at it was like block parties in Germantown and stuff like that. So I was 16, making a little money playing the guitar.
Probably weren't supposed to be there, but
well, I don't know, probably not. But I was there anyway.
Yeah,
I had to work.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so speaking of the Spunk Monkeys, I want to ask if you remember something that I wake up at like 2 a.m. thinking about this sometimes. So you used to be the music teacher for the little ones at Myrtle.
Yeah.
And when I was in your class, I raised my hand one time, like I had this big question, and I said, "Hey, are you a fan of the Spunk Monkeys?" And everybody groaned audibly, and you laughed. I feel like it was probably a fake laugh, but I was just wondering if you remembered that.
I not specifically, but I do remember a lot of kids at that time because I was still in the Spunk Monkeys at that time too.
Yeah.
I remember a lot. I would get a lot of that. People, hey, are you a Spunk Monkey? And stuff like that. And I don't specifically remember that, but I do remember a lot of the kids asking questions because what happened was a lot of the parents of the kids knew, they hung out and where we played at back in the day, they knew us, so it was, they'd say, I could just hear him, your music teacher plays in a band called Spunk Monkeys, and we used to go see them at the zoo, and stuff like that. But that was pretty neat. I mean, and that's another coming full circle, going back to Myrtle and teaching music. In a million years, that's the thing. You never know what you'll end up doing, and I would have never guessed. I'd have come back and been a teacher, period. But I guess you had to grow up sometime.
I guess it's more of a stable job.
Well, yeah,
not always on the road.
It fit my life at the time, and what I was doing, and able to stay home on the weekends. That was a thing that. I loved the band, I loved playing, but the downside of it was just being gone every single weekend. And I mean, it's still great, and it was great times, but it's a lot of sacrifice that you don't think about. Most people just think, oh man, it's just a party, and it is, but it's a lot of
preparation,
you're driving, and you're away from home the whole time. I remember being the bass player one time. I knew it was time to probably take a break from that grind. Whenever me and the bass player one time was driving home from a gig on a Sunday, it was beautiful, and somebody was out mowing their grass, and he was like, "Man, I'd like to just be able to mow my grass sometimes on the weekends." But nothing to put down what I did, because I did enjoy it. I'm very lucky that I got to do that, especially with I mean, we were all four like best friends, with the Spunk Monkeys, and they just kind of snowballed, and we ended up going a lot of places. Didn't intend on it getting as far as we got. Probably could have went further. But it's a pretty neat experience. But coming full circle, coming back to Myrtle, that was a pretty neat thing.
You say you've played a lot of places. I mean, you like went different states and everything. What was like some of the best places y'all have played?
Well, yeah, we played pretty much at least a few times in almost every state or in the Southeast. We always tended to, for whatever reason, we did good in Texas. We played Dallas and Houston, and they always, for whatever, I don't know if they felt sorry for us or what, but they seemed to like us over there. They just got us. I played Florida a lot. That was always fun because you're on the beach, and that's playing those type places on the beach. It's always a good party atmosphere, just a good time. That was always good. We just went to North Carolina, Wilmington, South Carolina, Georgia. But honestly, probably the funnest gigs were home in Mississippi. Really.
Right.
But I would say that in Tennessee, played up there a lot. So, but probably mostly Mississippi and Florida was probably the bulk of our playing.
Yeah, I remember y'all playing Florida a lot. I actually never was able to go to one of those.
You went down there, but you were so little, I don't think you got into the place. But you was at we actually got to go to Key West, the southernmost point of the United States. We went down there several times and played, and that was a good experience. And we probably went down there 4 or 5 different runs. Play there. We'd play at a place called Sloppy Joe's, which was Ernest Hemingway's hangout, back in the day, and we'd play 6 nights in a row when we was down there and stay in a band house right on the beach. So it was
pretty good gig.
Neat. Yeah, we had our own pool and the beach, so
Hey.
it was all right for some 20-something-year-olds.
Oh yeah. I actually used to. I was part of the band, I guess.
Yeah.
Back when I don't even know how old I was, probably like 5, maybe.
Yeah.
I worked the smoke machine.
Yeah, you were a pyrotechnics specialist. But
It was a huge job. I had a remote, and I could go out in the crowd and still watch, and I'd kick it off. It'd tell me whichever song. I think it was Jump by Van Halen.
Yeah, you were very protective of the smoke machine too.
Yeah, tell the story on that.
Yeah, I think one of the other bands, our smoke machine was set up, and then they started, or I think it's automatically started going off or something, and Caleb here pitched a fit, didn't think that opening band needed the smoke machine, so had to calm him down a little bit.
Yeah, I think I remember, I almost went back there, and I don't know what I was gonna do, but I was.
But you did a good job at the smoke machine. You had good smoke machine techniques. Yeah,
appreciate it. I'm still waiting on my check.
Yeah, you probably have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you have anything to?
No, I'm just sitting here listening. These are
just enjoying.
These are all stories.
Yeah, and there's so many stories that you could just go on and on. I mean, so many band stories. It seemed like a lot, especially in the early days. I mean, we really, from the ground up. I remember we would take our first gigs. We would take our pickup trucks, and put equipment in it, and then we got enough money. We started a band fund, and I remember we raised $500. And we went and bought a van for $500.
I'm sure it ran well.
Well, the first thing we had to do was go buy a battery for it when we picked it before we could even. And we ran that thing for probably a year and didn't do anything. I think the only thing we did to it was change the windshield wipers, and it was awful. The roof leaked. We couldn't keep our equipment in it, and when we went somewhere, if it rained, we'd be soaking wet when we got there.
See, I guess y'all went from the van. I don't remember that van. I guess.
No, that was
then y'all went to that big red truck. I remember.
It was black.
Or it was black.
Well, we had several vans before that. But we'd move up in the vehicle. We'd go on up to another van, a little bit nicer. I remember we got a Suburban, and we bought a trailer, and we had that so we could all ride in the Suburban, and had that trailer, and it was not like a, I don't know, like a full size Suburban, so it really wasn't made to be able to pull that heavy a trailer. So we were constantly breaking down in the middle of nowhere, and that was before cell phones. So we'd literally be stuck on the side of the road for 6 hours, and somehow we still made the gig. We knew we had to make the gig. If it broke down on the way home, it wasn't as big a deal because
y'all already got it done.
We got the job done, but there for a while it just seemed like we would break down all the time. I don't. It's amazing that we stayed together through all that. And then we finally got, a little money coming in, and we bought more dependable vehicles, and that kept us going.
I know they still have that.
They still run the
Ford.
van.
What was it? I forget.
I don't
what
see
it
was. How there's probably 1 million miles on that thing now.
I know.
It's a good one. It's a
have
Ford Super Duty van, so it was it's designed to pull trailers and
I have a couple of stories on that, or really just one story on that van from what I remember. It was a very traumatizing experience. I was in the back seat and I was sleeping, and a spider crawled on me, and you had to. It was on a sock. And you just chopped the sock. That was in the truck?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was in the van, because the van had those terrible carpet seats.
Yeah, just kind of, just buying equipment and saving up your money, putting back a little bit of money to have a band fund where you haven't got to come out of your pocket, and just, I was just constantly, and I got into the business side of running it like a business too, which a lot of people don't think about when you talk about a band, but I mean, it's a business, just like anything, and that takes a lot of time, and you got to learn to balance all that. So,
you talk about driving. Let me ask you, where's the farthest you've driven for a gig?
Well, that would probably be Key West.
Really?
That was about 22 hours, and I drove it straight coming back.
Drove it straight?
Yeah, stopping only for bathroom, gas, and then we did have one blowout one time on the way back. But I do remember, I think Jerry might have taken over at some point, but I remember driving the bulk of that. And I also remember we did a gig in Wilmington, North Carolina. We went out there and played a couple of nights, huge festival thing. It was we felt like we was in over our heads. Couldn't believe it had us there, but that was a neat experience. And we played on a Sunday and left out. We played early that day. We played early, like 2 o'clock or something. Left out, and I drove all the way to Tupelo, which was about 10, 11, maybe even 12 hours. I can't remember, from Wilmington, North Carolina. Drove straight, and I was working in Tupelo at the time. Had to be at work at 8:30. Walked in the door right at 8:30 and worked all day.
You worked in a music store.
So, yeah, that was when I worked for Map Sound and Video.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I worked, but we played the gig, drove 12 hours, went to work, worked all day. And
Good grief.
So we did a lot of that back then. We was young.
You had to.
We all, pretty much all of us worked, and we'd play 3 nights a week, and some of us still going to school, going to college and all. I mean, we just. Looking back, I don't know how we did it, but I guess just being younger and having that energy and just that drive, passion to do something. And, we're having fun.
Yeah.
Making a little money.
Like I mentioned before, I asked what your biggest inspirations were and everything, but did you ever play for, open up or play in the same venue as some of your inspirations? Yeah,
we got to do that gig, and I think it was 2011 after I'd done come back to the band, and we got to play at the it's called the Bancorp South Center. I think it's Cadence Bank Center or something. Yeah. I can't keep up with all of it, but we got to play with Poison and Warren on that. We opened up for them and got to meet those guys and hang out a little bit, as much as you can when people in that size, the celebrity or whatever. But that was pretty neat.
That was a pretty huge gig.
Play with them, that's pretty neat to see. And the dressing rooms, you have a star on it. Poison had a star on their dressing room, and Warrant did, and we have one too on Spunk Monkey. So that was pretty neat. And played a gig, opened up for, or played after Chuck Berry one time. And Chuck Berry was always, I remember when I first started playing guitar, I learned a lot of his licks. I got one of them books and, with the tab and all that. And I would study and try to learn a lot of his little stuff he did, and got to play a gig with him, and that was interesting. Playing Chuck Berry's a character. And
you tried to get your guitar signed by him.
Yeah, he wouldn't sign it. He was walking straight to his, well, it wasn't a bus, it was an RV, and his great-grandson, or his grandson and his son signed my guitar, but Chuck wouldn't sign it because he kept saying that I'd put it on eBay and sell it, which I might would have, but I doubt it because it was that guitar there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That guitar has a bunch of signatures on it. You've had that one for years.
Yeah, it's just my kick around guitar, but yeah, that's a part of the band life there,
Yeah. I mean, you talk about playing at y'all playing at Cadence Bank or Bancorp South back then. You just recently, you and Mike played a little duo set at Cadence Bank for Whiskey Myers.
Yeah, we got to play in the VIP lounge area there before the Whiskey Myers show, and we used to do a little acoustic thing. That was real neat. I mean, I didn't even know they were doing that little lounge area there, and they asked us to do that. So that was a pretty neat little deal.
It was like a couple of weeks ago, I know, or a week and a half ago.
Well, it was a week ago tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow,
it was a week ago.
But that's neat,
Yeah.
Getting to do anything like that's always pretty neat,
And then we saw Whiskey Myers right after. And
yeah.
Put on a good show.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have anything to add, Jake? I know you've kind of just been sitting over here in the...
Well, let me ask you, who all signed that guitar?
We couldn't get it out, I guess.
Yeah, that's
show it to the camera.
Well, that's mainly all these are mainly like friends of mine, really, that played. And that's why I worked at the music store. But that's Chuck Berry's son and his grandson, I think. And that was 2000, whatever that is.
Isn't that three or five, something like that.
And that's Stuart Wyndham. He's passed away now. He was one of the owners, and he owned the zoo. And Johnny Wigington, buddy of mine, Eric Stogner.
He's probably worked on this guitar for
a
little bit.
Just a pretty cheap guitar, but it's fun to play. And Johnny set it up, but just friends. I need to get some more friends to sign it.
Yeah.
Well,
you could have
kind of stop.
You could have what the podcast. Signed.
Yeah, y'all can sign it. I don't care. But
put that back.
So is this going out over the airwaves now? Are we live?
No, we're not live.
Not live, no.
No.
So we can edit.
Yes,
yeah, we can
all
edit.
the awkwardness can be removed.
Yeah. Well, that might be what you want to leave in there. That might get...
Well, we're gonna probably start a bloopers segment, upload it on our little Instagram.
Eventually, yeah.
Also,
when we get enough collected.
We just hit 100 followers.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
So Jake is gonna. I guess
I've already put the order in.
He put his foot in his mouth with that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of regretting it now. I promised when we hit 100 Instagram followers that we would. I said we would eat a ghost pepper, but we're not doing that. We're going. I already placed the order. It's the hottest hot sauce I could find.
What was a Scoville unit?
6 million Scoville units.
Don't drink it.
No.
I actually turned up a bottle after one of our gigs. It was kind of a dare, and I turned up a bottle like that. And seriously, and it's funny as heck, but they had to call an ambulance for me, for real.
I mean,
a few years ago, I was in.
Me.
Speaking of dumb, a few years ago I was in Gatlinburg with a church group, and there's a place called Pepper Palace, which is where I ordered.
We've probably been there before. I think we did.
And we all walked in there, and the guy in there could tell that we were young and dumb, willing to do stupid stuff. So he got us to do the end challenge, which that's what the hot sauce is called, the end. And
makes sense.
He got the chip was this big. And he put one little drop in the middle of it and made all of us eat.
That stuff was unreal.
It was unreal. we were sprinting. It was in a strip mall. We sprinted out of Pepper Palace and ran. There's a place called Dick's Last Resort.
Oh yeah, I know.
Y'all ran to the worst place possible.
I know.
Yeah, they give you a hard time for real.
We went into the building, and the host, I guess he was just shocked. So he dropped the act of being mean, and he just ran to the back.
Y'all scared him.
Yeah, I guess we did, because we were screaming and yelling at him. And he took us to the back in the bar. And the bartender, I guess, was more used to stuff like that. And she gave us milk.
Yeah, that's what they gave me. Yeah.
she cussed us out, though, on the way out.
Yeah, don't do it again.
Y'all probably deserved that.
We probably did.
I never. I mean, that's what. I mean, it was. It's funny and but it wasn't too funny at the time. I was really. I was.
We're gonna do one little speck on a chip or something.
Yeah.
It was originally gonna be just Jake doing it, but then I felt bad, so I guess I'm gonna have to do it.
We do very, very little. Have you ever heard of that stuff called Dave's Insanity hot sauce?
No.
That was several years ago. That was the really, really hot stuff, man. But too hot for me, especially now when you get older. You really can't.
I love hot sauce. We have dozens of, not dozens, but probably 8
millions.
dozen. Yeah.
Millions of hot sauces.
Yeah, in the cabinet in there. I always make mac and cheese and put a little concoction together, but I'm sure what we do,
we're not going to be making any concoctions and stuff.
I'll probably go on a little break from hot sauce after we try that.
Yeah.
Strictly have a gallon of milk ready.
Oh yeah.
But
some ice cream, tubs of ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we are
about
out of time. Yeah.
We are 26 minutes. We actually made really good time.
Yeah, I didn't tell too many secrets to give away anything to get me in trouble. So this was a pretty good interview then.
Yeah.
We kept it PG, so that's good.
He trained himself before he came on, so can't really say too much, but.
Well, okay.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, good luck to y'all. Maybe you'll get 100 more when you put this out there.
Hopefully.
Just go viral. Yeah. Ray-headed old rocker on there.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yep. This is What the Podcast, signing out.